Welcome back to Line by Golf, where we uncover the stories behind the people and places that shape the game. I'm your host, Ross McGuire, and in this episode, we're heading north to dive into the story of ASSL Golf, the fast growing YouTube channel bringing a fresh, funny, and totally relatable take on the sport we all love. Known for creative challenges, stunning Scottish backdrops, and an easygoing authenticity, ASSL Golf has become a go to watch for golfers worldwide. Joining us is Aaron, the driving force behind the channel. From teeing it up at iconic links to crafting lockdown-friendly golf entertainment, Aaron shares how it all started, the highs and lows of content creation, and what keeps him passionate about bringing golf to a broader audience. This episode is brought to you by TrueLinkswear. Head over to truelinkswear.uk to check out the latest range of shoes and apparel and support the brands that support the pod. Let's go over to the conversation with Aaron. It's all about creativity, community, and keeping golf fun. Welcome to the latest episode, Aaron Stewart of ASSL Golf. Aaron, how you doing? Great to see you.
Yeah, no, thanks very much to invite me on.
Yeah, and I was just going to jump into how did it all start, Aaron? What became, a real success story for you? Where did it begin in terms of ASSL?
If we was to probably throw it back to where it all began was COVID obviously hit. Everyone was a little bit bored for a while. Myself and good friend Scott Lorimar decided something that we fancied having a go at, but had no idea about doing was creating a YouTube kind of channel or a social media channel for golf. At the time, it wasn't a very saturated scene. It's a different story now, but at the time there was certainly nobody doing it. And we thought, why not have a crack? And in COVID, when we couldn't leave the house, we started chipping some ping pong balls off of pans and making some videos off of that. It got some traction early doors, which I had no idea how to capitalize on. And then things kind of moved on from there pretty quickly. Went back out on the course and started taking the piss out of ourselves playing golf effectively. There was nobody really that wasn't educational or coaching or something like that based. And we thought, let's just have some fun with it and see where it went. And we were fortunate enough that a small audience, a very humble audience that we have, were happy to view it. So that's kind of where it all formed. And obviously it's changed to where it is now, but it's been fun to kind of ride the journey out.
Yeah, and I'll ask a question about the pots and pans. So I know that was obviously where you started, but how much kind of time did you have to spend to set up some of
Far
those
too
scenes?
much, far too much time. I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't take a full day to kind of just chip. Like, I don't know, we had like 7 pans and a ping pong ball at one point, trying to chip it into a cup, and it spent a long, long time just trying to figure out, one, how to record it, but also two, how to actually enact the shot. It looked much easier when you watch other folk do it, but I can tell you from experience, it's not.
And any kind of recording faux pas or anything that drove you nuts at the start when you were just getting started?
It's the stuff that still drives me crazy to today, to be honest with you. It never gets easier to learn how to do it, but yeah, I suppose you just get used to it. But yeah, there's all sorts of outtakes and bloopers, I'm sure, along the way. That just have to be able to negotiate. Losing footage is one part of the battle that I didn't expect, and yeah, it's just an ever evolving journey of learning, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll jump straight in there. So what about where did it start for you? Where are you from and how did you start in the game yourself?
Yeah, so I am originally from a small fishing town north of Scotland called Lossiemouth. I am fortunate in the fact that Lossie has a very popular golf course, probably one of the most underrated golf courses on the Scottish scene for me, which is Moray Golf Club. So it's got 2 championship courses located in between, basically Inverness and Aberdeen. I grew up there. Unfortunately, for a long time, I thought I had dreams of being a football player, and then realised pretty quickly I did not have the skill level or ability to do that. My dad and my brother both played golf at the time, and I hated my brother being better than me anything. So that's why we picked up a golf club when I was maybe 15, 14. So slightly later, but also it wasn't as popular at the time. And then from there, just been swinging the golf club ever since. Yeah, not in Loss anymore, but I still drive back and have fond memories of the place.
And do you get to beat your brother quite often?
I no longer plays golf, so I'd like to think I'm the better of the two of us for golf now.
Fantastic. And then in terms of ASSL coming together, how did you and Scott meet? What happened there?
Yeah, so it was me and Scott were the first day at university. We both moved into the same flat together, had no idea who each other were. And first memories of Scott was that he was keen to play PlayStation 3. And
Right.
I was more than keen to get involved with a bit of FIFA back in the day. So we spent a lot of time not going to lectures and playing PlayStation together. Became really good friends through living together, and ever since just evolved. Obviously, Scott's now decided to kind of move across to Canada, which is a great opportunity for him. But yeah, me and
Yeah.
Scott spent a lot of time together for the last kind of 10 years or so. Really good friends.
And how did the social media come around? What inspired the two of you to do it? What was it
I
took
think
you down that path?
if I was to be honest with you, I think it was probably more Scott. Scott had a good passion in terms of watching and kind of taking in a lot of social media content at the time. He watched a lot of YouTube. I believe he had about 2 or 3 failed attempts at YouTube channels himself before coming
Right,
to
okay.
golf. He would have already had great ideas of. I believe at one point he wanted to be a baker or a cook at some point on YouTube. And so he clearly had a plan of action that he wanted to enact, but unfortunately it never came to pass. And one day he decided, why not give golf a go? Because to be honest with you, when we started the golf channel, golf was very much at the back of Scott's mind. He wasn't a keen golfer as much as myself.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of probably his third choice, to be honest with you, but more than happy he decided to for myself in terms of personal gain.
Brilliant. And then, I mean, coming together, what was the kind of early days like? You mentioned some of it there that you're mucking about with pots and pans and stuff. What were those early days like together? What kind of frustrations did you have as you're trying to bring the content on?
With all sorts, to be honest with you. Like I said, it's a real big learning curve. Try to get into the game without any knowledge. Probably the first real frustration point is when we decided we're going to do YouTube. Obviously, it decides you need to take a lot of footage, a lot of editing power, a lot of software, and try to learn that is particularly hard. I remember Scott used to edit the videos. He had a good PC at the time, and I said I'd
Right.
pick up the next one. I did not have the kind of computing power that was required, and we found that out maybe a week before we were meant to produce a video. So I had
Oh
to go and
no.
buy. Yeah, so Scotty pulled up. He took the slack for a couple of the initial YouTube videos, learning how to edit and doing those. But by the end, we did our fair share together.
And then the sort of content that you're creating, what was it that I guess took you down that path of being a bit more light-hearted and trying to show a different side to golf? I guess some of the YouTube stuff can be pretty serious and it's, folk are trying to do long drive and they're giving really in-depth instructional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what about you guys? What was really taking you down the path that you chose?
For us, there was kind of two real things. Like there was obviously Scottish golf is probably the best golf in the world, in my opinion, my biased opinion. I'm sure you probably have a similar one. But yeah, like there was nobody doing it at the time, and Scotland is the home of golf, so we are spoilt for choice in terms of where we are in the world, and nobody really showcasing that. So that was one of the reasons. And two was, like you say, it's a lot of kind of like hard watching educational content, coaching, people that are either good at golf or would like to teach golf that was on YouTube at the time. For us, there was nobody really showcasing just the genuine authenticity of two guys having a laugh playing golf to a very substandard level in many times. So yeah, and we're more than happy to take the piss out ourselves for the enjoyment of others. So at the time we thought, yeah, we could probably tap into that market, and for a little time it was pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality of golf, right? I mean, the vast 99 point whatever number of digits, a huge number of them. That's the reality of golf for all of us. We're not all going to play golf like Rory McIlroy or whoever. I mean, the
As
reality
much
is
as we'd
there's
like to.
balls. Yeah, there's balls going out of bounds. There's balls getting topped and duffed and just all kind of madness going on. So when you started creating that content, how did you learn from your feedback from the followers and did you amend what you were doing at all based on that feedback? I'd love to know about that.
Yeah, we definitely adapted as we went based on what we've seen and what we heard. As you probably know, social media is not exactly the friendliest place when you do something wrong. It's the first person to tell you that you aren't great at golf or you've done something wrong. And to be honest with you, we kind of just lent into it a little bit rather than both fairly thick-skinned. We don't really care. At the time, Scott, or probably still to this day, Scott had a fairly unconventional golf swing.
Right.
Um, So we kind of lent into that a little bit and kind of fed off of that comment wise. I remember the very first video that we kind of produced on course was based on, there was an application you could use to make a shot tracer on the back of your golf,
Oh
and
yeah,
we got a lot of comments based on the fact that you could visibly see Scott's ball duck hook left very violently, but he's drawn this little tracer over the top of it, going straight down the middle and commentated at the top. So that was really the first time that we learned that, you know, really there is no time to kind of hide on this app. Like, you're gonna see a lot of comments pretty quick. But yeah, it's been fun since then.
And did you find then that, as they say, no publicity is bad publicity through those kind of things? Did it actually bring more folk to you when those
Yeah,
points were getting
absolutely.
spotted?
It's exactly that. Like, I would hate to say that we're clickbait in terms of what we try and produce now. It's probably the opposite. I try and keep very authentic at the best of times, but I'm
Yeah,
not adverse to producing a slightly artistically licensed title if I need to, in terms of driving clicks and viewership to a video.
fantastic. And then in terms of the types of content, what are your sort of favourite things to put together, Aaron? What do you enjoy the most?
For me now, obviously, it's slightly different now. We used to do a lot of long form content, go around the country when we could, and film 9-hole matches against each other, where the golf was really secondary to what we were producing. It was just going and having fun and enjoying ourselves. And we'd cut the video in terms of the shots would all be authentic as we played them, no
Right.
retakes, no nothing like that. It would be exactly as we played it in a match, and
Uh-huh.
we would just be taking the piss of each other as much as possible. A little bit of fairly light-hearted, and nobody really took it to heart. But as much as we say that, I would never want to lose to him. So, um, so we used to do that a lot of time on YouTube, kind of 9-hole, 20, 30-minute videos. But
Yeah.
now, for myself, it's maybe 3 or 4 videos a week. We do short form across all our social medias. And for me, the ones that I enjoy is the opportunity to go and play with either unique personnel, which is people that I would never get to play with or have the opportunity to play with, like footballers or people of influence or anything like that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Just having access to that, and also courses. Like, I get a lot of invites to courses via a person that people or just message the channel or say, would you like to come play here, or would you like to come play
So
there? And
you've got people reaching out to you now as well. I was going to ask,
yeah,
how
but
do you choose the courses now?
it's a mixture of both. Like, we can obviously cold email a course and ask for access. Should it be in the top, maybe the top 20, we'd probably have to do that. But I'm fortunate enough that a lot of people, or I could ask a lot of people to kind of help us out with access to certain places, and it's fairly easy to set up. To be fair, as much as it might look better than it is, it's just a phone, a tripod, a microphone, and then some post editing to polish it all up.
So you do all your takes on a phone? All the video work is done on a
Yeah,
phone?
don't get me wrong, there is multitude of other equipment I have, like cameras and drones and all sorts. But for me now, operating as I do, for me it's just one phone, one person, one microphone, one tripod, and we'll see what we film.
And you're doing it all completely on your own now when you're going to film content. It's you, the tripod, and that's it, and maybe a guest.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I'm fortunate enough. I've got a good group of friends. I suppose just especially now we kind of went into. We've got a friend down in Glasgow called Michael. Michael Baber. He does some filming for us, wearing some of the Druids product that we rep. He does some film down in Glasgow. Maybe goes and travels to some of the events down that way, and I'll do the stuff up here, and then I'll edit all as he sends it through to me.
Oh, that's really cool. So then, in terms of editing, were you a video editor before? Is this something that you had to pick up?
Yeah, it's been a real learning curve. I'd certainly not say, even to this day, I'm certainly no professional editor. We all have our level of ability we can get to, so I've kind of figured out what I can do and stuck to that effectively. Had no previous experience before we went into like short form content or long form content for that matter, and just yeah, kind of figured it out as we went. And trust me, that's had some real learning curves involved with very late night edits, rendering, and trying to get videos processed onto YouTube, or trying to figure out what's going wrong or what's going right, or how to do certain things. I've got a lot of appreciation for the guys that do it full time and can do it well.
Yeah, and I mean, and you're clearly very good at what you do, Aaron. You've learned so much. But you would say that typically for every minute of content, it's probably going to be at least 5 minutes of editing. But when you're
Yeah, I'd say
starting
so.
out, it's probably like 10, 15, 20 times the amount of time to do it. It's incredible how
Yeah,
time consuming it is.
it can definitely rack up the time pretty quick. I remember at the very start, me and Scott obviously have full-time jobs at the same time, which are 40 hours a week, and we'd probably be spending the same amount again on learning how to edit, process, and kind of tag all the footage, and then manage to import that all to your editing photo, and then go again and actually edit the footage out. So at the time, it was pretty time consuming. We kind of got to a point where it was efficient enough that we could get by every second week. Both of us would take a video each and we'd do that. But yeah, a lot of Sunday nights spent into 3, 4 in the morning trying to render a video for a Monday release for us back in the day. And it's the same now. Even then, I'll come back from work at 5 o'clock, be like, right, what footage have I got on my phone? I'll throw a video together in less than an hour and see how it goes. And more often than not, hopefully, that I've got a formula that I can repeat fairly quickly. It's just me talking over the back of my bang average golf normally, so it's pretty repeatable.
And I mean, you said there it's going to take you an hour, so are you always doing a sort of full platform edit? It's not just you're taking stuff on your phone and pumping it out. You tend to be doing like a kind of desktop edit of what you're doing as well.
More often than not, right now, yeah, we would probably do all the footage is done on my phone, and then we'd invest in a MacBook so we can transfer that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
And unfortunate enough, I can share the files between the devices. So whether I'm on the go or whether I'm on my phone, I've always got the ability to kind of look and edit some footage, hopefully, in a fairly time efficient manner. And then we've got some templates and whatnot that can help up with the setup of the actual kind of text and whatnot. And then from then, it's just trying to make a video work.
fantastic. I'd like to thank Oliver Wilson and TrueLink Wear UK for sponsoring the show. Let's hear from Ollie now.
The OG3 Pro is the natural evolution of the OG range. We have a wide toe box that allows your foot to work naturally and your toes display. We have a cushioned zero drop platform. It's flexible, minimalist to allow you to feel the ground. It's waterproof and an aggressive, spikeless outsole. And of course, it's tour tested.
And then you started out on YouTube, but you've of course kind of broken out on TikTok as well. So what was the sort of journey there for you with doing that?
That was probably the real learning curve. Like you realize pretty quickly that you don't have to have a professional to get going pretty quick. In fact, it probably came too quick for us. We had no idea what we were doing for a long, long time. And I'd probably still to this day say we have no idea what we're doing, but we wing it as best we can. We were fortunate enough that nobody was doing it at the time. So it was, like I say, it was very unsaturated. Nobody was really playing golf, tracering their ball and commentating over the top, especially not to take the piss out of themselves unless they were very keen to show how good they were at golf. And we were fortunate enough that an audience enjoyed that for a long time, which gained us a following on TikTok and allowed us to kind of cross-pollinate for a little while. And then to this day, we still grow, but I wouldn't say that growth is the key factor for us. It's just if people enjoy the content, then great. It's a passion project at best. So yeah, I've enjoyed kind of that learning curve.
But I mean, you're saying that, Aaron, you've got partnerships like PXG and Druids. So how did those kind of things come around as well?
Yeah, I suppose they're as much a surprise to me as they were to everyone else, to be honest with you. They've been great with us. We've been lucky to partner. Even before then, like we did the YouTube videos and we partnered with a company called Bunker Mentalities to provide all our golf kind of clobber back in the day. And then after that, PXG approached us to start an agreement. And they've been great with us. They provide all the kind of golf gear that we have in partnership with them. We then give back to them by tagging them in everything we do. Like so, every video we produce would have PXG product and PXG eyeballs, and that's been great. You realise pretty quickly that user error is the problem, not equipment error, manufacturer error. It's all to do with the person holding the club, and not the club. The stuff's been really good. And then later down the line, Druids got in touch and asked to start an agreement. A Scottish company which we'd actually reached out to prior, and kind of asked if they'd be interested. So it was really great to see them come involved, and that's been one of the most successful partnerships we've done. I really like the Druids product. I really like what they do, what they stand for, in terms of direct-to-consumer, value for money, good quality product, but prices don't take the piss, and that's been really good for us and for them, hopefully, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just commercial, you've done some charity challenges as well. You did 100 holes in a day, so talk me through that. How did that come around?
So the first time we did it, that's what we'd always banked that as we wanted to do that for our first YouTube video. Like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And we did that probably, I can't remember, maybe 5 years ago. We did 100 holes around Moray, championship course, raised maybe $2.5 grand for charity.
So you did it around the champ course. Wow, that's awesome.
Which was great. And we filmed all that, and at this time, like I say, at the time we had no idea what we were doing, so we filmed some of it. But you realise pretty quickly 100 holes is pretty tough, especially when you're not an athlete like me. And yeah, so we struggled around that, and then maybe 2-3 years later, we decided let's do this again for another video. Scott's mum's involved with Alzheimer's Scotland, so it was a natural kind of cause for us to get involved with and hopefully raise some money for. And again, we were fortunate to have some folk got behind us with a lot of good support on the day for people can help them with this. And like I say, for the non-golfer, that doesn't sound like a challenge, but for a golfer, I'm sure they all appreciate that it's quite tough. The body definitely failed me both times after the time we'd done 5 or so rounds. But Scott probably not so much. He was pretty good in the last round, to be fair to him.
Well, and I'm bad enough after 36 holes, never made 100.
Yeah,
it sounds like a car crash to me.
Second day.
Yeah, I bet you. So then, what about your top golfing experiences so far in terms of doing the channel and all your social things? Where have you really enjoyed playing? What's been the standouts for you?
I'd say for me, the standout would be, in terms of staying to Scotland, we've been fortunate enough to be invited to places like Turnberry, Carnoustie, Dumbarnie, which has really been, like, I would never have access to these places for filming before, so that was really fun. But I think the standout for me is we went a trip to Northern Ireland, which included both courses at Portrush, and both me and Scott did some filming there, and that was fantastic. They were really good with us. They let us go out before the members and do some filming. In return, we provided some drone footage to them. But yeah, I mean, we're just two guys with a dream. We both were sitting there negotiating how much would we pay for this before we go out, and they just said, yeah, go out, enjoy yourself, and give us some content. So they were really good with us.
That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Good on you. And then what would you say is your favourite content in terms of having a laugh and just being what you've, I guess, set out to be in terms of content title?
It'd probably be twofold. The content I used to enjoy the most was out playing with Scott. That was just two guys doing what we do, but we just happened to put a camera behind each other and film it. But yeah, obviously it's slightly different now. And for me, the favourite content that I get to film is we do like 9-hole videos where I'll go out and play a certain amount of holes at a course, which is normally 9 holes, and I'll kind of document all that. And some of these big courses, getting to do that just with a tripod, you're a visitor or as a visitor with a guest that's invited you on, and just kind of getting to know everyone else's story, how they play golf, how they enjoy where they live. I'd be the exact same with somebody coming to Moray. I'd just love to kind of tell them all my experiences there and why I enjoy the golf course. So I've been fortunate enough to get some really nice places and really nice kind of people to take me on. So I really enjoy that, and then I can do a lot with that footage at the end. So 9 holes video, that I can make that into the 3-hole, 6-hole, 5-hole formats, or I can choose a hole that's potentially more engaging than others and voice over the top of how rubbish I've been that hole.
So it is you. I was going to ask, it is you doing the voiceovers all the time, and have you always been doing the voiceovers?
For the last couple of years, it's definitely been all me. It used to be both of us would voice over and kind of turn, but for the last few years, it's been myself that does the voiceover.
And how did you get adjusted to that? Did it seem, what was the feeling like when you were doing it at the start?
It still doesn't feel natural. I won't lie to you. There's a lot of outtakes. If you ask the missus how much time she'll hear me screaming at myself in the spare room, I'm sure she'd tell you it's far too often.
We need to get some videos of that. You need to video yourself doing your videos.
Yeah, I think she sends it to her friends more than I'd like her to. But yeah, it's probably not as easy as people give it credit. Talking to your phone or pretending that you know what you're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing, to be honest. It just looks a bit more polished than it is, maybe.
It's hilarious. I mean, I do like an intro and an outro for the podcast every week. And I'm not joking, the number of times I mess that up and I've got the words right in front of me, it's hilarious. It's
Oh yeah,
ridiculous how bad it gets.
it's frightening how hard it is to actually speak to a camera or to know you've got a structured thing to say. Like I could say so many times, I know what I'm away to say, and I'll still get it wrong. But
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the goals of the channel going forward? I mean, you've got a lot of different, social platforms that you're putting content out on. You've got a lot of interest in your channel. What are you looking to do going forward?
for me, it's just like I say, it's that sweet spot between probably more time spent in a passion project or a hobby to it's nowhere near a full-time job. So for me, it's somewhere closer towards if I could see if there's any commercial value in doing it long term, then great. But if that never materializes, then so be it. We have some good partnerships. We have some really good people that are on board with what we're doing. We are still slowly growing in terms of viewership, and one day maybe that'll kick off. But if it doesn't, then at least we enjoyed ourselves and uniquely put our point of where Scottish golf fits in the whole YouTube scene and the whole kind of landscape of social media golf onto the internet, and we enjoyed ourselves while we did it, and that's for me the real goal. And if we grow alongside that, then great. And if not, I won't lose any sleep.
Fantastic. And then some other questions, Aaron, any dream courses that you've not filmed at yet? I mean, there's obviously so many, but any particularly in Scotland, for example, that you'd love to get access to film some content?
It's a great question. It's one that I've been asked a few times, and I'm pretty sure every time I say it, my answer changes. But the most recent one that I want to go to is the new one in Aberdeen, Donald Trump's new one. You can like him or you can hate him, but I suppose the man knows how to make a golf course.
Certainly does. I'll give him that.
So I'd like to play his new one, but also for me, there's a few like Muirfield down the Edinburgh Way, Renaissance. I've never done too much down that way.
Right.
These are all courses that I like to play. A few over in like Ireland kind of area or Northern Ireland, like County Down, etc., would be great. Lahinch. These are all good courses. But for me, links golf in Scotland along the coast, there's so much choice. Yeah, I could travel around Scotland for years and still not get bored of it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then any bucket list sort of challenges you'd love to take on? You've done your 100 hole, you've done the pots and pans challenge. Anything else you've got in mind?
I've always had a great idea that I could stand in a par 3 until I make a till I make a hole in one on camera. But I feel like I could be there for a few days. So, yeah, there's a few that I'd like to take on of that kind of nature. Breaking par from various tee boxes and then moving back every time you do is stuff that I've always wanted to do. But it's just the time aspect of being able to go out, film all these longer form videos and whatnot that's kind of held it back. But one day, there was various things. I'd like to go and play golf at Lofoten Links for 24 hours and see how many birdies you can make in 24 hours or something along that nature. Just something that's slightly unique,
That'd be really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So then, Aaron, if people want to hear more about ASSL Golf and have not heard about you before, or they want to find out where you are, how can they find you? Where will they get you?
Well, exactly that. ASSL Golf on all social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. That's the 4 main ones. That's the ones we post on. It's all currently short form content, so hopefully very digestible on the move for folks that don't have a long attention span. But if they do have one, they can obviously go and watch some of the back catalogue of matches that me and Scott filmed back in the day. And maybe one day we'll get back to that. But yeah, it's a pipe dream.
Well, I've been catching up with golf's fifth major, the Moray Open week. That's
well,
really
that's
cool.
Yeah, that's what everyone wants. That's the real one. Moray Open is a very special week, one like no other, in my opinion. It's the largest northern golf amateur competition, I believe. Around 300 people in the field. There's about 90 odd people qualify. It's a really, really good week. And obviously, it's just helped by the fact that normally, apart from this week, the weather is pretty good and the view's pretty good of the golf course as well. So the bar's normally pretty fun as well. So you've got the golf, or you can reminisce in the bar about how bad or good you were that week.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, Aaron. It's been great to meet you and all the best for your channel going forward. All right.
No, thanks very much, mate. I really appreciate having me on.
That's it for this episode of Link by Golf. A huge thanks to Aaron from ASSL Golf for sharing his story and giving us an insight behind the scenes of the channel that he's helped to share with the golfing world. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you follow Link by Golf wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And don't forget to share it with your friends to grow the community further. You can also find the show on Instagram. Head over there and you can see my ridiculous attempts to increase my ball speed and pictures and videos of some of the places I've been fortunate to play over the past 18 months since the show started. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Lomond Golf Tours have helped thousands of guests build bespoke golf trips to create a magical experience. Travel in style, whether executive chauffeur travel, whether it's golf on a major championship venue or one of our hidden gems, 5-star accommodation or a boutique bed and breakfast, or is it whiskey tasting on a private boat? Lomond Golf Tours are here to help build the tour of a lifetime. Whether you're celebrating a special occasion or ticking it off your bucket list, embark on a trip that you'll remember forever. To learn more about our offerings for 2025 and beyond, visit www.lomondgolftours.com.